me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, gotta feel the tension. In my thoughts.
Welcome back, everybody. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. But today we're going to be going over the recap for the Miami Dolphins beating the Giants. Was it sloppy? Yes, in some ways, but there were plenty of goods to come from this game. So we're going to go over the stats for the Dolphins. So Tua Tagovailoa, 22 for 30, 73 completion percentage, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 INTs with a total QBR of 109. Tua Tagovailoa for rushing was 2 of 6, and then you have DEVON ACHANE for a ridiculous 11 for 151 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert, 10 for 65 yards and a touchdown. And then you have the receiving, Tyreek Hill, 8 receptions for 181 yards. Jalen Waddle, 5 for 35 and a touchdown. Tyreek also had a touchdown. Raheem Mostert, 2 for 13. DEVON ACHANE, 1 for 14, and that was just that little dump to DEVON. Cedric Wilson actually had 4 for 52 yards, and then Braxton Berrios, 2 for 13. And then we'll talk about the defense. Bradley Chubb, 5 tackles, 7 tackles assisted. You have Eli Apple, 8 tackles, 9 assisted. Van Ginkel, 3 tackles, 1 was a sack, but there was plenty of QB hits and all of that. Xavier Howard, 3 tackles. Raekwon Davis, 2 tackles, 3 assisted. Christian Wilkins, 4 assisted tackles. They didn't give him a sack, but I'm pretty sure he had a... That's weird that the stat isn't there for him to have a sack. He definitely had a sack in this game. Javon Holland, 4 tackles, 4 assisted. Deshaun Elliott, 5 tackles, 6 assisted. David Long, 4 tackles, 9 assisted. Emmanuel Ogbah, 1 tackle, 2 assisted, 2 sacks. I'm pretty sure one of those sacks has to be for Christian Wilkins. Zach Sealer, 6 tackles, 7 assisted, 2 sacks. Jerome Baker, 4 tackles, 8 assisted, 2 sacks. One of those has to be for Christian Wilkins because I definitely saw Christian Wilkins get a sack. There's no way that he didn't get a sack in this game, or even like an assisted sack. That's crazy. So I think they got the stats wrong for that. They got to fix that. But we'll talk about this. So number 1, I think we all can breathe fresh air. I'm not going to go too crazy because it is the Giants, but the defense played better. The defense definitely played better, and it's something that I think we were all talking about, that it looked like Vic Fangio kind of implemented a lot more blitzing to this team than what he was doing last couple weeks, where he was essentially just allowing 4 rushers to go after the quarterback and having 0 success. This week, it looked like we blitzed a lot more, had a lot of blitz packages, and surprisingly enough, our players were getting to the quarterback. He also did something that I think you're going to kind of not think it's a big deal. You probably didn't notice it, but Cater wasn't on the outside this week. Cater was on the inside, and he had Eli Apple on the outside, which definitely helped a lot more. Cater Kohu is more of a slot corner. Definitely body type, style, everything, much more of a slot corner. Eli Apple is definitely much more of a outside corner. Although he's not, the greatest, he definitely plays better than Cater on the outside. So I think that switch up definitely helped a lot, having Eli Apple on the outside. Also, I think, again, like what I said in the previous videos, is that Andrew Van Ginkel needs to stay on the field. It's clear as day that the guy just brings pressure, play after play after play, and he doesn't need the blitzing. Everybody else, I think, needs that blitz to help them out to get one-on-one. I think Andrew Van Ginkel he just gets there. He's the only one that just gets there. And I'm even saying that because I was a Jalen Phillips fan. I think Andrew Van Ginkel is the purest pass rusher on this team, and there's no questions about it. He's the only one that can beat these blocks. I don't care what you say. Chubb, he had... Chubb, I think, got a little more pressure this game, but it's also the Giants still didn't really show up all that much. He did okay, But against the Giants, you expect someone like that. Again, Bradley Chubb is not just a mediocre name. He came to this team being an all-pro pass rushing outside linebacker. So to have an okay game against a crappy defense, that's alarming. You know what I'm saying? And I think truly, honestly, when Jalen Phillips comes back, I do think Bradley Chubb goes to the bench, and it's going to be more Andrew Van Ginkel and Jalen Phillips rushing the quarterback, because I just don't see anything from Bradley Chubb. And I think maybe possibly, I don't know. The problem is that the contract is so enormous. I don't think anybody's going to take that contract on either. So kind of just stuck with him. But all in all, defense did much better. You know, Jerome Baker was used much more effectively. He was blitzing a lot more, which is what he is. You know, he's blitzing and sideline to sideline. That's how he succeeds. You know what I'm saying? If you're putting him in a pass coverage style, he's not good at it. He's not good at pass coverage. You know, David Long did a little bit better. But yeah, Jerome Baker was definitely more in his zone where he's blitzing, he's doing all the blitz. And you see, he got a couple sacks in this game. You know what I'm saying? So you see, when you blitz Jerome Baker, that is his strong suit. You know, I understand that you wanted to come here and do your own defense, but you have to understand you have to play to the player's strong suits. Jerome Baker's a blitzing linebacker. He's fast, he's agile, and he's very quick, shifty. So putting him in pass coverage, that's not playing his strong suit. You send him at the quarterback, again, the reason that we get sacks with this front four when we're blitzing is because when Jerome Baker's coming quick as heck, that offensive lineman has to make a quick decision on who to get. And usually that ends up, that's what was so good about Jerome Baker, is that usually sometimes those offensive linemen make mistakes and then there's a free rusher. That's the key here. That's why this blitzing defense is so much better. And it looked like he implemented, of course, there was a lot of coverages that were mix and match, cover 3-2, you know, whatever it was, man coverage, but having the blitzes definitely helped. Number two, the offense. It's going to be good and there's going to be bad. You know, Tua was a little sloppy today, but here's what we can consider. Okay, if 22 for 30 for 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions is a horrible day by Tua, which probably a lot of people are going to say, I will take that. Most quarterbacks, a horrible day is 200 yards with 2 interceptions. Tua's horrible day is, you know, last week and this week. Almost 300 yards and 300 yards, couple touchdowns. I'll take that every day of the week, twice on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, there were some sloppy throws. Yes, he threw into double coverage, but, you know, it just looked like we kind of knew we were going to win this game, and you know, it kind of got to us a little bit where we were just playing like we knew we were going to win this game, you know, and we've all seen Tua step up and do what he needs to do. You know, in the beginning of the game when it was a game, Tua was definitely making plays. It's just when we started just kind of really kicking the crap out of him, it looked like Tua was just making mistakes. He was just trying to do too much. Yeah, so that is key here. Couple of double interceptions, but Tua definitely still played a great game. 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, 109 quarterback rating. I mean, that's 109 quarterback rating for a bad game. Take that every day of the week. The next thing is our running backs. Achane, finally got it right. This guy's ridiculous. I'm telling you right now, this guy is just nuts. He just is, he's ridiculous. 11 for 151 yards and a touchdown. And it doesn't even look like he's moving fast. He's going 22 miles an hour, 21 or something like that. This kid is special. And he is going to be, I think he's the next CJ 2K. It just looks like it. I mean, he's just got the same agile movements that CJ did, just as fast. This kid is nuts. You got Mostert. He brings that power. But Achane, man, he just, you know, I was even talking to my brother when I was watching this game, is that his vision is far superior than any rookie running back that I've seen for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kid just knows which hole to hit. He's patient, and even when he's patient, he's still moving fast. And then when he hits the hole, he's gone. I mean, and it's not a fluke thing. He's done this 3 games in a row. Even in the Bills game, he was still doing this. So, Rookie of the year, running back 1 so far. You know, now there's going to be one thing that I'm a little worried about, It's Jalen Waddle, man. You know, he's having really an underwhelming season. I don't really know what's going on with him. I talked about it in, you know, the last week's videos, but Jalen Waddle's having a really underwhelming season, and it just seems like Tua and him are kind of off and Tyreek Hill and him are on. You know, and it's weird because even a couple of those throws, man, it look like they're not on the same page, really. You know, I just don't know what it is. He doesn't seem the same. You know, I thought he was going to come in much better, and he's just not having that spectacular year like I thought we were going to have. A lot of these plays are going to Tyreek. I don't know, maybe if it's, I don't know if it's an injury or whatever it is. You know, I know he scored the touchdown, that was cool, but yeah, a lot of these receptions are just, I don't know, him and Tua just don't seem to be on the same page anymore. I really hope they clear that up because I think Jalen Waddle's a special, special player. But right now, it's just Tyreek Hill show. That's basically it. It's just the Tyreek Hill show. I mean, Jalen Waddle is catching whatever the other things are, but I don't know. It's a weird moment where I really thought that Jalen Waddle was going to be excellent this year. I thought it was going to be his year. He came in bigger, faster, stronger. I don't know. The ball's just not getting to him or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but he's just, you know, it's like Cedric Wilson had more yards than he did this year, this game, which is strange, you know, because you would expect Waddle to have, if Tyreek Hill has 181 yards, you'd expect Waddle to have at least close to like 90 to 100 yards, you know, and it's just been kind of consistently like 5 for 60, 5 for 70, you know, he hasn't really had that game where you're just like, there's Waddle, which last year, you know what I'm saying, we played the Bills, Waddle was ridiculous. We played the Ravens. Waddle was ridiculous, catching these awesome deep passes and this and that. And it just seems like, I don't know, Waddle's just not really, I don't know if Tyreek Hill's just getting open too much and Tua's not looking at him or whatever it is. But yeah, I'd expect Waddle to have a really breakout game coming in later into this. Maybe versus Carolina or versus the Eagles, but I definitely expect Jalen Waddle to have better games than these because he's just not, it's just kind of like average numbers, you know what I'm saying? And that is not Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle's a stud. I don't care what you say. He's a stud, and I expect to have a much better game than he's been having. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Chase Claypool is coming into the mold, and, you know, I mean, Cedric Wilson did pretty good this game too, so we'll see what happens, but I do expect Jalen Waddle to have a breakout game. And yeah, I think coaching was better. That we'll go to that. I think the coaching was much better this game. I do think that there are a couple of things that we could have back, but for the most part, you know, I think Mike McDaniel ran a pretty good game. You know, I think Tua was trying to throw the ball and fit it when he didn't need to. And that's what led to the interceptions, and it was just unfortunate. You know, that's not really Mike McDaniel's fault. It's kind of just Tua making a poor decision. You know, that one for a pick six, that was in between 3 people. I don't even know how he saw that he could get that in, you know what I'm saying? So, and Tua doesn't usually make those types of throws. I think Tua usually is pretty effective in the red zone. He just was very sloppy today. So, and Fangio, I think he did a great job with the defense. I think he finally realized, like, hey, I need to play to some of the strong suits of these players and not necessarily to my package. So I think blitzing and everything, the coaching was definitely much more spot on this game. Of course, it's just the Giants. The Giants are kind of, they're not that great, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, but it is definitely a morale boost. You know, you go into Carolina, that's another game that could be a trap game. You need to win that game, and you get your morale up. You're first in the division. You know, Buffalo lost a couple players, which is unfortunate because, again, I'm one of those that I want to beat the team at their best. But they lost a couple players. We're going to get back a couple players when we face Buffalo again. So it's going to be, I think, a different, and we're facing them at our place. So definitely excited to that game. But you get your morale boost from this. Overall, sloppy game. We played, I think in the beginning we played up, and then we saw we kind of had this game. We just were like, they're not really doing anything. So it is what it is. And I think we play better. Teams will play much better. But, again, what we can take from this is if our crap, sloppy game is this, imagine what this offense can do when it's rolling. Obviously, 70 points so far is what we've seen when the offense is rolling. This is a crap game. We still scored 31 points on a game that we were like, this is really sloppy for the offense. You know what I'm saying? So things are kind of molding together. If we can start implementing more plays like we did this week with the blitzes and, having Eli Apple on the outside, and, eventually we get Jalen Ramsey back, which is going to be a game changer. You have Eli Apple out there and keep Cater in the slot, blitz a lot more, put pressure on the quarterback, allow him to get frantic instead of just sending for Jalen Phillips comes back. Andrew Van Ginkel is starting to show his stardom, and you have that ball rolling. The offense looks fantastic. The running game looks fantastic. The passing game looks fantastic. Yes, he threw a couple interceptions, but that's just because he was playing down to the competition. That was just something that he was just trying to he was just trying to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen during, the better teams. And like I said, if this is a down game, imagine what an up game is going to be for us. 500 yards of offense and we had a bad game. Think about that. And everybody has off games. It's like we talk about this. Listen, Josh Allen just had a game where he lost. He just played bad. Straight up. Josh Allen stunk it up against the Jaguars. A team that they should have beat. We played a team that we should have beat, and we beat them. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I think it was a great game. I think we're back rolling. I think everybody's back on the bandwagon. And I think Fangio definitely proved that he's going to fix this. And I give you the gold card for Fangio fixing this defense. But that's going to be the recap. As always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Fins up, baby. Peace.